What's up, Scrappy peeps? It's Del from Inkie Quill, and today we're doing a very monochromatic layout, and I'm braving one of my lesser used colours, yellow. So I've got a 9x12 piece of basil marshmallow cardstock, and I've got this little photo of Beans, and he's got this little yellow dandelion, and he was so fascinated with it. He was just playing with it between his fingers and smiling and laughing, and it was just too cute to belong in my project life. I needed to do a layout. So I just grabbed my Winsor & Newton watercolours, and I'm just very messily using some of the yellows and goldy tones and just putting down some colour here, there and everywhere. I've grabbed some packaging and I'm just kind of mushing it around a little bit more and trying to make it not look too boxy. I really love the look of these splatters that I've put across it as well. There's a really nice, it is a kind of a goldy tone without the shimmer of gold. It's a really nice golden yellow colour. Then I've dried that with my heat gun, and now I'm coming back in with one of my favourite stencils. I don't know where it's from, I'm sorry, and some white dilutions paint, and I'm just doing this really subtle floral design over the top of the yellow, and by using white it blends the yellow background into the white background of the cardstock as well. So if you've ever done some mixed media in your background and used white cardstock and found it to be a bit too much, you can always use white paint and a stencil to kind of mute it down a little bit. Next up, I decided I wasn't done stenciling, so I'm making a soft yellow colour, mixing up some white and some yellow, and I'm just using a makeup sponge just from a cheap $2 shop here, and this is an old Amy Tan stencil, I believe. I think it came in a little set of stencils, and I just did a few little extra pieces there, and you can see this layout, the mixed media part of it wasn't too tricky and it didn't take too long. I've only sped this up, I think this is double time, I do believe, so it didn't take too long, and it just kind of it lets you create your own background papers. I think that's the reason why I love doing so much mixed media, is that you can really personalize it to what the colors of your photo are, and what the theme or the so here I've used florals because of that little dandelion, and you can just really personalize it to what you need it to be. I've got out my tissue paper and my giant scissors, snippy snip, and I'm just matting my photo with a little bit of black and white tissue paper. I'm doing really soft layers here because I wanted to make sure that the focus was on the photo and the journaling as well. I'm going through the crepe paper Flourish, yes, it's Flourish 6x6 paper pad, and I'm using up these papers that are nice, but I really struggle to use like lemons. They're hard for me to use, so I thought now would be the perfect time to make them peek out from behind my photo and make them look a little less lemony and more just like a hint of yellow. I then reached for this leafy one, and I love a good leafy paper, just like I love a good floral paper. And I picked this one because it was very neutral and I thought it suited with my photo. I'm going through and seeing if I need any more, and then I found this one. Now this paper, to be honest, when I was looking through the paper pad, I felt like this paper didn't really go with the rest of the collection as much as the others. I don't know, it just seemed a bit different. It's very kind of vintagey looking. It kind of looks like text, like newspaper that's had gold brown paint spilled on it, but it was perfect here because it's the same kind of tone as those splatters that I was putting on with the watercolor paper, so that's handy. I don't often do monochromatic layouts, and this one at the start didn't intentionally start up like that. When I start my layouts, I rarely have an idea of what they're going to look like finished. I usually have an idea of maybe a color that I want to use or a product that I want to use, but that's about it. And it's something that I really do want to try again. I know I said monochromatic and here is a tiny touch of pink, but it's so tiny that I didn't even notice it when I was taking the photos for this layout. So it's basically monochromatic. Do you do monochromatic, by the way, is just using one color on your layout. Do you ever do layouts like that? Let me know in the comments if it's something that you do often or if it's something that you've never tried that you want to try, because I definitely want to do more of them. I usually, if I was to do one, I think I've done a couple in the past that are blues. I'm thinking I've done one of my dad and I for Patreon where I did, I think that was back in July or August last year, where I used the art print and printed it onto sticker paper. And I think I've done one over here on YouTube which was all green, I believe. But it is something that I'd like to try a little bit more, maybe even next time with a pattern paper background. Ooh, I have been, if you've noticed, I have been experimenting a lot lately with the pattern paper backgrounds. I've been trying to be brave and embrace them. And I'm still learning. My go-to technique is to cover up a lot of the background with paint. And I think that it's important when you're figuring out a new technique or a new product or style, I think it's important to find something that you like and practice it a little bit before and get comfortable with it before you then jump on to something different, completely different. So baby steps with the pattern paper backgrounds. Here I typed my journaling using my electric typewriter. I have an old electric typewriter that is fantastic because you don't have to give it the manual, I guess, the physicalness of typing on a manual typewriter. It's electronic, so it just seems to magically work. So if you can get your hands on one of those and love the look of typewritten font, typed font, that's the word I'm looking for, I highly recommend checking your local op shops or thrift shops or Craigslist, Gumtree to find one, because it's really changed the way that I journal when I can be bothered to leave it. I've got to leave it set up somewhere. Do you guys get that? Oh, if there's a product that, like my Big Shot or my sewing machine, it has to be set up somewhere for me to use it properly. Please let me know that I'm not the only lazy scrapper out there that abandons machines and tools when they're not set up properly. I added that little, I think this is really pretty, that little rub-on down the bottom is off that Jane Davenport rub-on sheet. And I think I'm going to have to try and track down more of them because I don't have too many left, and they've come in really handy, especially for art journal pages or Project Life. I've been using them quite a bit in those. I'm adding a little scripty written quote because I felt like I needed some handwritten bits to kind of contrast the typed journaling. That's what I'm trying to say. And I just wanted to add some of my own handwriting there. Also to kind of work in with the black of the leaves in that pattern paper background piece. So now I'm getting the little sprinkly bits. So I've grabbed some enamel dots. I've got these beautiful cork hearts that a subscriber sent to my PO box, and I'm trying to find where to put that one, sticking that down. I love those cork hearts. And then I've got these tiny little, I think they're acrylic stars that my beautiful friend Evie sent me, and I'm just sticking those and putting glue everywhere. Just sticking them wherever I can. I love having these little bowls of teeny tiny sprinkly bits. I need to track down more teeny tiny sprinkly bits because I filmed this a little while ago and I have since raided a lot of my stash. I just think they really finish off a layout. I like to include them, and I even sometimes just doodle a little star, a little heart. I like the little tiny details. Going through my little wood veneer container now and picking out a few tiny stars, and I've got this little arrow that I want to stick down, and I'm trying to figure out if I want it to point to the journaling or point from the journaling away or be on top of the heart. And in the end, I decide to stick down the stars first because that will give me a bit of a better idea as to where I want that arrow. But you can see that I've done, like I often do, a triangle of clusters. So I've got the piece up the top right hand, that yellow star with a few little bits up there. Then I've got the cork heart on the left hand side, and then another little cluster near the end of those paint swatches. I grabbed a roller stamp and I realized that this layout didn't actually have a title. And usually I love to use my thickers and kind of put in a big title somewhere, but I didn't for this one, and I don't mind it. So I called this title, I called this layout Exploring the World Together. Oh, my phone's not on silent, naughty. I called this Exploring the World Together, which is, I think, the last line of journaling that I did. And even though I always do titles in my layouts, there's no rules in scrapbooking, so you don't have to. When I started scrapbooking, I watched a lot of Becky Higgins' Project Life videos, and I thought I had to do it exactly the same way as she did. But I soon realized, no, actually not soon. It took me a while to realize that I could develop my own style and I could just do whatever I wanted to do. There's no rules. So if you are someone who doesn't like titles, you don't have to do titles. If you're someone who doesn't like splatters, you don't have to do splatters. I love making these videos for you guys just to kind of give you a bit of entertainment, a bit of craft entertainment, and also just give you some ideas of new ways how to use your supplies, or inspire you to try something new. Because if you don't like it, remember, you can always cover it up, or you can just get a new piece of paper. It's okay. We won't tell anyone. So the layout is all finished, and honestly, this is one of my favorite layouts that I think this would be top 10 that I've ever done. And I know that's a big call, but I love how simple and pretty it all is in one go. Thanks for watching today, guys, and don't forget to tune in to my second channel, Let's Get Inky, if you'd like some more videos weekly, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.